everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the Linglobe channel. This time, we'll be bringing you content about preserving the world's languages for the future. Please enjoy it to the end.
Welcome to Linglobe. Today, our mission is to explore a really fascinating Linglobe presentation detailing the heritage of Northern Europe's indigenous people, the Sami.
Yeah, and if you've ever felt overwhelmed by just the sheer volume of history out there, today's journey is going to be so much easier for you to follow.
Definitely. It's going to be very structured and visual. We have a 15-slide presentation from Linglobe titled Voices of Sapmi, and we're literally going to walk through it slide by slide.
Right, because we want to uncover a culture defined by incredible resilience, unique languages, and this deep harmony with the extreme Arctic.
Yeah.
And this isn't just history, it's a masterclass in how a culture survives and thrives without borders.
Exactly. So starting right off in slide 1, we get the title, Voices of Sapmi. And there's this striking opening image.
It really is beautiful.
It's a person dressed in these vibrant, deeply saturated red and blue traditional clothes, steering a reindeer sled straight through an endless, stark white, snowy landscape.
Yeah, that visual contrast it's the perfect entry point.
It really pulls you out of your everyday life.
It does, because in slide 2, the presentation breaks down the interconnected ecosystem of the Sami people.
Right, the 3 pillars.
Exactly. You have the land, which supports about 80 to 100,000 people who have completely adapted to the extreme Arctic.
Wow, that many.
Yeah. And then you have the culture, which is anchored entirely in reindeer pastoralism. And finally, the language, or rather 9 distinct Uralic languages.
9. We'll definitely have to get into that. But looking at slide 3, we see the actual map of Sapmi.
Right, the geography.
And it's described as a nation without borders. It stretches across the northern parts of 4 modern countries. You've got Troms and Finnmark in Norway,
Yep.
Norrbotten in Sweden, Lapland in Finland, and the Kola Peninsula in Russia.
It covers a massive area.
It does. It's almost like a cultural overlay drawn right on top of a standard political map.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. How does a culture that predates modern borders maintain any sort of unified identity?
That's the big question.
Right. Because its people are currently governed by 4 completely different national systems.
Well, it all comes down to the fact that their deep ties to natural geography simply surpass those artificial political lines. A border checkpoint doesn't change the migration route of the reindeer,
Right, the animals don't care about passports.
Exactly. So their identity is rooted in the land, not in political jurisdictions.
That makes a lot of sense. Which brings us to slide 4, a timeline of this incredible millennia of adaptation.
Yeah, starting way back in antiquity.
Right, where they went from hunter-gatherers to reindeer pastoralists.
Mm-hmm.
But then the timeline moves into a pretty dark era, stretching from the Middle Ages to the 20th century.
It was incredibly dark. This was a period of forced Christianization, aggressive assimilation, and massive land appropriation by those 4 growing nations.
Wow.
Yeah, there were strict policies designed to basically erase their culture. But as the slide shows, there's a dawn of revitalization in the 1980s.
Yeah, that's when they established the Sami parliaments, right? Leading to the global recognition they have today.
Exactly. And a huge symbol of that recognition is in slide 5, the colors of Sapmi. It's their flag, which was adopted in 1986.
It's a gorgeous flag. It has this big circle on it.
Right. The red semicircle represents the sun, which is vital in the Arctic, and the blue represents the moon.
Oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the colors red, blue, green, yellow mirror their traditional clothing perfectly.
They do. And the presentation briefly notes that the circle motif echoes their traditional shamanic drums, too.
I love how layered the meaning is. So, moving to slide 6, we dive into the core of their daily life, which is reindeer pastoralism.
The absolute center of their world.
The slide explains that the herd dictates the seasonal migration between winter and summer pastures. It provides their dietary staples, like meat and dairy, combined with fish and berries.
It's a total survival ecosystem.
But for anyone listening who is a beginner to this, could you gently explain what pastoralism actually is? Like, how is it different from regular farming?
Sure. So With regular farming, you build a barn, fence a field, and bring the food to the animals, right? You stay in one place.
Right, totally stationary.
But pastoralism is the opposite. The humans follow the animals. The reindeer must move to find fresh grazing lands, and the Sami move with them. The animals' biological needs dictate the entire schedule.
Wow, so the humans are just hitching their existence to the reindeer. It's almost like, well, the reindeer are to the Sami what the buffalo were to the Plains Native Americans.
That's a great analogy.
It's a complete symbiotic survival kit. Even their economy revolves around the animal.
Completely. And because they're constantly moving, they couldn't exactly build giant stone monuments. They had to wear their identity. Which leads us to slide 7.
The visual language.
Yes, the Gakti, their traditional clothing.
This slide is amazing. It shows how the Gakti acts as this incredibly detailed visual language. The colors show regional origins. The banding signifies family lineage.
Every stitch means something.
Wait, it even says here that specific designs indicate whether someone is married or single?
Yes. You can look at someone from across the tundra and instantly know their social status.
I mean, wearing a Gakti is literally like wearing your social media profile in real life. Everyone instantly knows your relationship status in your hometown.
That's exactly what it is. But visual language is only part of it. Slide 8 moves into their spoken language, the linguistic genealogy.
Right, the Uralic language family.
Yeah, and it's important to gently explain this because people assume they speak something related to Swedish or Norwegian. But Uralic languages have Finno-Ugric roots.
So they're related to Finnish and Hungarian, but completely distinct.
Exactly, not Indo-European at all. And the slide highlights this fascinating concept of an ecosystem lexicon.
Yes, this blew my mind. They have a highly specialized vocabulary just for snow conditions and reindeer herding.
Right, because knowing if the snow has a hard crust or if it's powdery is quite literally a matter of life and death when you're a pastoralist.
That makes total sense. But then slide 9 throws a huge curveball that reveals this fragmented linguistic landscape.
Yeah, it's not just one language.
Right. There are 9 main distinct languages, like Northern Sami, Lule Sami, Skolt Sami. And because of geographical isolation, they are mutually unintelligible.
Meaning they really can't understand each other just by speaking.
Wait, so I have to push back on this a little bit. If they can't understand each other, how do the Sami still feel like one unified culture? I mean, isn't that a massive contradiction?
It seems like it, right. But it goes back to what we just talked about. They share visual traditions, the Gakti, and they share that intense relationship with the Arctic and the reindeer.
Oh, I see.
That shared physical reality is the glue. It transcends the spoken word.
That is so profound.
Yeah.
Okay, slide 10 takes us to the evolution of the written word.
Yeah, standardized written forms really emerged in the 18th century.
Using modified Latin alphabets.
Exactly. Because standard letters couldn't capture the unique sounds of the Uralic languages, they needed special phonetic characters.
Like the N with a tail and the D with a stroke through it.
Right, the eng, the D stroke, the kakaron. Creating these allowed the language to enter modern education and public signage.
Which is a huge victory for visibility. And in slide 11, we actually get to see the language in practice.
Yes, some northern Sami examples.
Let me try these. Hello is Buris.
Buris, yep.
Thank you is G2.
Yep.
And fun or enjoyable is Ilu.
You got it. And what's fascinating is how these greetings emphasize warmth and respect.
It's such an interesting contrast. You have this freezing, harsh environment outside, but their foundational words prioritize interpersonal warmth.
You have to be warm to each other to survive the cold. But moving to slide 12, we look at a completely different kind of voice, the Joik.
Spelled Y-O-I-K.
This is incredible.
It's a unique form of melodic chant, but it's crucial to understand it is not a song about a subject.
Wait, really? What do you mean?
Well, if I sing a song about a wolf, I'm describing the wolf. A joik is completely different. It's designed to evoke the fundamental essence of the person, animal, or landscape. So it sounds less like a standard narrative ballad and more like, I don't know, an auditory fingerprint.
Oh, I love...
Like a sonic portrait of a soul. You aren't singing about the wolf. You are vocally channeling the wolf.
Exactly. You're manifesting its spirit. And this deeply spiritual tradition is passed down to the kids, which we see in slide 13, play as preparation.
Right. Children learn vital Arctic survival skills through traditional games.
Things like reindeer sled racing.
And stone throwing, which the slide says was precision training for hunting, and woodcraft play.
Yeah, but my absolute favorite on this slide is the Joik battles.
Oh my gosh, yes. Joik battles. It's improvisational oral agility.
Exactly.
It's basically like ancient, deeply spiritual rap battles.
It really is.
It proves the cultures are completely dynamic and alive. It's not just some museum exhibit.
Totally. Which leads directly into slide 14, outlining the modern revitalization.
Because after centuries of pressure, they are experiencing this massive resurgence.
Driven by a strong political voice through the Sami parliaments, educational integration.
In contemporary artists, right, blending ancient knowledge, like the Joik, with modern media.
Yes, they are bringing their ancient heritage firmly into the modern world. Which brings us to the final slide, slide 15.
A Venn diagram of the resilience of Sápmi.
It perfectly summarizes it. Modern Sami identity sits exactly at the intersection of the Arctic environment, their Uralic heritage, and their visual traditions.
It really does tie everything together perfectly. You can't separate the language from the reindeer or the clothes from the snow.
No, you can't. And as a final reflection drawn from the Linglobe materials, the Sami people teach us a truly profound lesson about survival.
What is that?
Well, true resilience in the face of harsh climates and centuries of assimilation doesn't come from building physical walls or defending rigid borders.
Right.
Instead, it comes from carrying your nation within you. It's woven into the bright colors of your Gakti, it's hidden in specialized words for snow, and it's sung into existence through the essence of the Joik.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for watching until the end. We will continue to bring you many more languages from around the world. Please subscribe to our channel. See you next time on the Linglobe channel.